All right. So the update right now is that we are going to put the adapter plate on, and then the flex plate, flywheel. Probably bolt the starter on it. Chase is retorquing the head right now, and going to probably set the valve lash on the valves to make sure that that this baby will fire up when we're ready. I think after we do this, then we're going to go ahead and set it in the car and start assembling all the rest of the stuff. Got to put the exhaust manifold on it with the turbos, and then we also need to put the intake manifold on it. And once we get to that point, things are going to start looking a lot better. So hopefully, if everything works right, we might be able to fire this thing up by the end of the day. I'm hoping, but we'll see how it goes. It looks easy, but nothing's ever easy. I mean, the adapter plates are made to go on here, but every block might be a little bit cast. Like this is a different cast than that block that I had. So you have to grind and make clearances so the adapter plate goes on right. Now this block's been sitting around for a long time, so it's got rust in all these holes. So these aren't just going straight in. So they're kind of stripping. So now I'm gonna grind a notch in them like this. I had to probably put it in a vise so I can do it right. Here. There's one. And then we can clean the edge up if you want.
Here, do the other side.
Around the other one.
Do exactly on the other side and go a little more into the threads.
What, on the other side?
Yeah.
You want to do it on all of them?
That's our tap. No, just one.
You want to do it with all, just clean them up?
No, we'll just
so basically what we did here is we made a little tap to go in there and clean the threads out. So that shit in there. So this adapter plate basically is designed to basically fit directly on there. Not a lot of room for clearance on this. So when you put these on, you know, like right here was hitting the engine block a little bit, so I grinded the engine block so it'll clearance right here. And you know, when you put them on, especially if you have a stud girdle on your block and you're putting a turbo 400 behind it, you might have to cut into here and cut these down a little bit to clearance for the stud girdle, because these are set up for just a regular oil pan. Once you put the girdle on, you're going to add about 3/16 to 1/4 of an inch. So you want to grind this out right here, and then it sits down in there nice, and just to save you a bunch of problems if you're going to go put one of these on. These are really handy. The starter that you're going to use is out of a 6.0 Ford starter. So, and it adapts right on here with their little adapter. It's pretty sweet. If you're going to run a turbo 400 behind a Cummins, these work really good. That's what we're running in the DRod. So, but anyway, we just don't have a lot of room for air. Once you put these in, they got to go in. If not, you'll strip the threads out of that thing and have a problem. So that's why we're going to take the time and clean them up right now. All right. So this is your adapter plate right here. So a lot of people don't get to see the back of this thing and how it works. This bolts on to the back of the Cummins block. This one actually is a diesel conversion specialties adapter plate. And what you do is you basically bolt it onto the Cummins block. They've got this set up where it'll bolt right on like this. You might have to do a little bit of work on clearance. Like I said, On this oil pan right here, you have a stud girdle. That's this piece that's in between the block and the oil pan, okay, is this stud girdle right here. So if you're putting a stud girdle in it and you're making a lot of horsepower, you need to cut this out right here so it fits. Okay, that's a clearance issue that you got to come to, but you know, they can't think of everything all the time. Anyway, this is the flex plate and the flywheel basically. And how this works is this is the back of your crankshaft right here. This is going to go on like this. Okay. Once this on, this is where your starter comes out and engages to the flywheel so you can fire it up. Okay. Your torque converter is going to actually bolt to this, and we'll show you later once we stick it in the car. The torque converter to the transmission will actually hook up right to here. And then the bell housing to the transmission will bolt up right here. So that's where we're at right now. We're going to bolt this on right now. And then the next move after this is probably going to be putting it inside the DRod and getting it bolted down. So that'll be our next one. Okay, so on the DRod motor, this is an industrial injection head. So what they did is they went in, they shaved the intake manifold off of this, as you can see. Like on a regular 12 valve, it'll kind of come out, it goes like this, and it goes over to here, and there's one inlet on a regular 12 valve intake, okay? It has a big port on it, but the aluminum piece that sits on it has typically the heater on it. That is your preheater for when you fire it up. You turn your key on and it preheats, and then when you fire it, it starts the motor up a lot quicker because these don't have glow plugs on them like a Ford does. So there's a heater that goes in there, but we got rid of all of that heater element, got rid of everything, and we're gonna put this big intake manifold on it. So now instead of having just that little port, you have this big canister, which is way more volume, okay? Each one of these individually goes into a cylinder. And also these ports right here are all our nitrous ports. So you don't see it on the car because this is actually upside down, but this is your nitrous right here. Every one of these is where we spray the nitrous into the motor, okay? So it just goes straight in from here. The pressure from here forces the nitrous into the motor, okay? And you can see the top of this thing, how it's built. Just like this. This is all custom. This is not a piece that typically you can buy anywhere. This is a custom piece. Always pay attention to that motor. Let him get his side in first. Juice. You want me to a little love. A little love.
You guys get it?
Okay, so we got it wrapped up to this point right now. We got the motor in, we got the transmission hooked up. Tomorrow we got to put the converter bolts in it, finish up the bell housing bolts. From this point forward, it's going to be putting the turbos on it, getting all the fuel lines hooked up, getting the nitrous lines hooked back up, getting the pump put on it, time the pump, set the valve lash on it, and we should be able to fire this thing up and see what it sounds like. But we're done for the night, so tomorrow we'll be back kicking ass. One more day.